Hello, it's Juliana here, and I just want to talk real quick about the presence of natural hair colors in the Rim High doll line and which ones it's really lacking in. So first and foremost, the most common natural hair color in the Rim High doll line is unsurprisingly blonde. And we do not have every single blonde Rainbow High doll in our possession or in our collection, but here are some notable ones. And something that I noticed is that, like, with the blonde Rainbow High dolls, there just tends to be more of them. And then they tend to be used for dyeing the hair on so often that they become more rare than other hair colors in the Rainbow High line. And I can name several examples with this one. The Delilah Fields, Whitney, Victoria Whitman, Harper Dune, and those are dolls that I have commonly seen people just dyeing the hair on and going crazy with that. And if it isn't the Color and Create dolls, it is very often the blondes. Which, I get it. Blonde dolls sell. I'm well aware of that. Because even back in the day, whenever I was a kid, before Rainbow High or Monster High was even a thing, most Barbie dolls were blonde. Blonde was a hair color that was very, very normalized in the doll industry to the point where it basically eclipsed other hair colors for a long time. And I feel like that bias still hasn't gone away. And as for black-haired Rainbow High dolls, these are the three that I have. I'm not sure if Lyric Lucas counts, but I do not have Lyric, so I can't. So I don't have her on hand to check that. And then with the brunette, but not as many as the blondes. And then with the brunettes, you have dolls like Iris Bow and Vanessa Tempo. But yeah, I know Iris has the rainbow hair, but her natural hair color is indeed brunette. She has brown hair. Yeah. And this is especially present on her second doll in Rainbow High rebrand. And then ones with blonde highlights are an interesting case, so I am mentioning them. So ones with blonde highlights that I have are Clementine and Pinkley Page. And you can tell from Pinkley's eyebrows that she probably dyes her hair to look pink like that. And then for any hint of natural red shades, ones that are naturally occurring, the only example here really is Mila Barrymore. Oh yeah, and Paris Hilton's another blonde doll, but she's a collector doll, and she's a doll of an in real life celebrity who happens to be blonde. So I feel she doesn't really count towards the whole blonde bias as much as some of the others do. But yeah, back to the redheads. If you consider the amount of Rainbow High dolls that actually have naturally occurring shades of red hair, it's very much limited to Mila. You do not see naturally occurring shades of red hair with anyone else. All the others just have bright, neon orange type shades. And Rainbow High has existed for like around 5 or 6 years at this point. It is technically a doll line that has been around for a while. So, I asked you this. Why haven't they done a doll with like natural red-orange hair? Like shades like this and like shades close to it that are just naturally occurring in nature. Why is there no Rainbow High doll with natural red-orange hair? Or like auburn or something? Like, seriously. I would love like a natural redhead or like an auburn Rainbow High doll where it's just like nice red oranges or even like reddish brown or even just like a normal like even just like some normal dolls with different shades of brown hair. Like, that would be interesting. Like other companies make dolls with many different shades of brown hair all the time, of various different races and everything. So why doesn't like Rainbow High do this? Why doesn't Rainbow High have more dolls like that? Why do they always make more blondes, but not as much as the other more natural hair colors? Like, this is something that I've been wondering about for a while. Like, I grew up with Barbie. I get it. The blonde dolls and the pink dolls really sell. But there's also something that I noticed whenever a doll line is going downhill or their sales are struggling a little bit. So something I read in a very old article where like someone was just like analyzing about how to tell if a Mattel doll line was like going downhill or something was if they were like getting rid of redhead characters, introducing more blondes into the line, and putting characters who haven't worn pink in the line before in pink. I read this like years ago, and I admit, like, after seeing the list of like signs like that in that article, it just kind of stuck with me. And once again, I'm like reminded of it with just seeing how many blonde dolls are in the Rainbow High line. Especially with like other hair colors not being natural hair colors not being added as much. And then there's also the increase in characters like Bella Parker getting more dolls. And Amaya Rain. And it's like, and if they're adding more characters with like the pink and the rainbow and the really popular color combinations like that, it's like, I admit it makes me just a little bit concerned for like where the Rainbow High doll line is. Just seeing that. But like even with that in mind, I do have hope that like eventually Rainbow High could find its footing again. it could start making, so it could start having more of a balance with how many dolls of each hair color it releases. And I really hope that if they ever make a Rainbow High doll with natural red-orange hair, I don't want it to be like super uncommon like it is in the LOMG line. I want it to be something more frequent. Like how, like the presence of orange and like red dolls in the line. But yeah, what I'm trying to say here is that I just want to talk about my observations about how Rainbow High tends to prioritize blonde over other more natural hair colors. And I definitely want to see more natural hair colors that aren't just more shades of blonde. So goodbye, mysterious audience. I love you and I appreciate watching the channel. And this was a quick little like analysis kind of video on Rainbow High's natural hair color dolls.